Hello and welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Captain Kib, signing on today, and today we're going to be looking at Total War 3 Kingdoms, because they just released some of the gameplay footage at E3. And as a huge fan of the Total War franchise, or more so, the older Total War games, more specifically, and less the recent, more streamlined adaptations of the older titles, which is, it's a mess for a whole nother time, there is some things that I found interesting in this trailer, and good and bad, and we'll get into that by just taking a quick look at it. So, we're going to mute this here in the background because I've already seen it. Oh, good channel, by the way. But, yeah, so Three Kingdoms is set in Asia and China. Now, that's very interesting and all, and actually I applaud the recent change and stuff before we do a medieval title, and it's better that they do this before Medieval 3 for a couple of reasons. One being, this is on the Warscape engine. I fucking hate this engine. Like, I am one of the most fucking advert fucking people against this engine. I thought this engine was a goddamn mistake since its fucking conception. And this engine, the idea of a modular-based engine is only for fucking saving money. And while that's good on paper for businesses, it's bad for us gamers because of how fucking dated it is. This is definitely a Warscape engine. Even the textures are the same or pulled from certain things. Now, there's one thing I want to discuss real quickly. The color palette. The color palette, on the other hand, while the engine is ass and I hate everything about it, there's one thing I do like, is the vibrancy in the color palette. Notice the swift change from yellow dirt here to greens and the vibrant reds. It does bring back a little bit of reminiscence of Shogun Total War. It sort of has that sort of color to it, sort of fleshed out. This is a good shot right here. Look at the color of this battlefield. Look at how fucking vibrant it is. That is good. I do like the stylistic choices brought about this. Now, there's already a couple things we need to discuss. Unit sizes have already been revealed. For example, 160 unit sizes. They're no bigger. Sorry, guys. Warscape engine's too ass to handle anything bigger than that. It's unfortunate, but yeah, that seems to be the thing. On the bottom left-hand corner, we can see a unit counter. This is the amount of units that they have. 1813. What an excellent year. And then this is, I think, the regiments. No, this isn't the regiments. 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. New. Unless there's regiments I don't see here. Now, there has two distinct gameplay modes now. They're going to have a romance of and a biography kind. And I'll link a video to that done by my good friend Arch, who actually goes into great detail on that. But we're not going to get into that. We're going to be mostly looking at the gameplay and how it functions. And I presume that this is in the romance of gameplay style, because you can see hero units. And if you are like me, and you like both Warhammer Fantasy, because you're a huge fan of that, because I am, but you also are a mega fan of history, and Medieval 2, and Shogun 2, and, you know, all the good Total Wars, back when Total Wars were fun, but, or back when they were innovative, let me put it like that. I'm already kind of disappointed. My historical boner is sadly flaccid, because this is going to not be historical whatsoever. Now, there's a couple of cosmetic things that we see a return of. Bannermen are back, but it seems like there's like 50 bajillion bannermen. I'm not sure if that's done for artistic purposes, but that's just kind of, Oh, beg your pardon, guys. My dog is, she's dreaming a little bit in the background. I'm surprised she's able to dream while I'm ranting. Truly a magnificent puppy. Ah, that's disgusting. All right, so lazy animation, yet again, at its fucking finest. Creative Assemblies employed some unique tactics on covering up their lacking animation, or their lacking detailed animation. This poofy cloud of smoke, now let's look at that a little bit again, but a little slowly. How do we change the speed here? Quality, speed, and I think it's 0.75 is slower? No, 1.25 seconds. Actually, we'll turn it up to 1.5, just to take a look at that animation. I want you guys to look at this with me real quick. No, that was faster, wasn't it? I think it's 0.5. 0.5 seconds? I don't understand. Yeah, that's slower. I thought it meant that's the time. So see how they basically just sort of cover up the animation with this huge poof of gray smoke. Now, if anyone's seen any sort of like rocks ever crumble, it doesn't ever look like this. If you're ever like tearing down a building, I worked in construction. It gets dusty, but it's never like this. And yeah, there's a lot of fucking filler and stuff in there, but that's not how it looks. It's kind of ugly. Rome 2 had a better animation for this, which is kind of bizarre that I'm complimenting Rome 2. Medieval 2 being one of the best, by the way. Best siege animations, best siege battles of all time. Irrefutable and fucking fantastic. One of my favorites in the franchise. That's just kind of a lazy animation technique. You can kind of see it collapse from here a little better, which is strange. Hold on. Is that the rendering distance of the cloud? Funny. Funny, isn't that? So they revert back the camera over here. Now that smoke animation's still there while we're over here. And there it is collapsing as we speak. But there's no smoke. Can it not? The engine can't probably handle that. That's kind of embarrassing. Oh well. Now, one pointy fact, beg your pardon, is the sieges. The siege battles. Yes, we have a second tier. However, this looks pretty shitty. Anybody who's played a Total War game can immediately tell in the distance, or played enough of them, may have like almost over a couple thousand hours in fucking Rome 2, sadness. These causeways are massive, and that's to make up for the terrible unit pathing AI. Total War's unit pathing AI and most of their games is kind of ass. Medieval 2 is not that bad, actually, surprisingly. But Creative Assembly's newer Warscape Engine 1 suffer from the same problems as it continues. Ah, good. They're copying the Romans. Way to go, you gosh darn China people. Not only do you fucking copy our tech... No, I'm kidding. I know that's going to trigger people because of the time period, but that's funny. We got some unit formations. We'll switch back the speed. Now, unit formations, I'm not going to be like praising them for bringing back basic mechanics because that is not praiseworthy. The hero system is meh. If you're a historical fan like me, it's fucking awful. Bring back the traditional general system on how generals were attached to units, and they had a bonus in stats, and so did their general's bodyguard, but it was realistic. It wasn't this over-the-top, retarded, like, oh, yes, a weeaboos charging for fucking glory, and you're like, ugh, just fucking disgusting. Disgusting in an historical setting, and China's historical setting is fucking convoluted. Not to quote my buddy Arch too much here, but due to the fact that it's not really well documented. The Chinese curate their own history and do stuff of that nature, which is disgusting, and honestly, I find that absolutely outrageous as well. As a fucking historical buff. That's why I kind of don't really like Chinese history, because you can't tell what's true and what isn't, because it's all fucking lies. Now, got our hero units, got our units moving up. It seems like they have the group movement. I imagine that's the Alt key to move up your units in groups. Now, what I want to see is the unit collision. We're going to skip forward past all these useless cinematic pannings. It looks like we have the fire system back, and here's all the buttons over here where your units are. The map is moved to the bottom right-hand corner. I do not see a zoom function, even if I move that away. I think that is the tactical map overlay right there, because that's a bird, so that means tactical map overlay. Zooming speed. What happened to the speed timers? These little arrow things are kind of... It is a work in progress, but honestly, there's a lot that isn't going to change. This is a Creative Assembly game. And if anyone followed Rome 2 and has been part of this franchise long enough, you're going to know that the trailers generally look better than the actual game. In fact, they always do. And in the worst of senses, Rome 2 being the primary example, there's no arrow trails, but that's fine. I'm not particularly bothered. I know some people are bothered by that. We got flaming arrows. All right, we got... Oh my god, disgusting. Disgusting. Absolutely outrageous. All right, so we have the same fucking animations for fucking goddamn burn animations. It's the same one. It is literally the same one. How lazy is that? Right there, where he keels over and starts waving his arms above his head. Yes, I've seen it enough times to tell you that that's the same fucking animation. That is absolutely awful. Unacceptable. You're gonna ask $60? Look, I'm more than willing to play this game, even though it's on the Warscape engine. But you're going to use the same animations. The very same animations. That's way too... Now, we haven't seen the melee ones, but the burning ones, that's pretty lazy. And honestly, the burning animation was pretty dumb. He basically just, like, flails his arms around his fucking body in retarded circular motions as if they're swimming. Alright, unit collision has been made contact. We have unit sliding. That guy just did a flip for some reason. They're just sort of keeling over. I do not see sync kills going on at the moment, but it's kind of hard to catch them. So honestly, there might be sync kills, but I do see a lot of guys just keeling over without sync kills. What in God's name did that motherfucker do? What? What the fuck? What the fuck? It just like, all around me a familiar face as he goes. Oh my God. We have units stuck in the back. Just stuck. Like, nope, don't want to go any forward, boss. Look at that son of a bitch right there. Look at him. Oh my god. Dude, one of those fuckers over there just like fucking punted him. like an orc. Oh my god. Now, siege battles are back, and it looks like they've completely reversed their role, their stance on single-walled siege battles in Warhammer Fantasy. Not only did they completely reverse it, this is also going to be funny, they also reversed the wall types. Look at this, guys. There's no double walls. Yeah, because that system didn't work, you fucking CA. Instead of fixing the problem, they tried to bypass it by making the walls double thick. And no, it doesn't work. Oh, goodness gracious. There are some things I do like about this, though. I do like that the Attila fire system is back and cities are now damageable. That is nice. I also like the fucking color palette. I'm liking that a lot. However, the frame rates here seem to be dropping, but I think they're actually dropping in the stream. As someone who watches things in slow-mo to look at things in greater detail. Alright, we'll watch that son of a bitch fly one more time. Alright, I thought the frames were dropping for a moment. Nope, they're actually pretty solid. That's actually good. Hold on, let's look at how smooth that transition was. It seems to be holding rather well, and normally that's good. So we have an optimization there. Also, I see units using grappling hooks again. No siege ladders, really? Come on, Creative Assembly. Quit streamlining siege battles. I remember when you actually had to construct siege ladders, and you had to build things, and you had to play a game instead of magically pulling out fucking grappling hooks. That system has been ass since it was introduced in Empire Total War. Oh god, it did not work in Empire Total War. Empire Total War was an unmitigated disaster of a game. But, just grappling ladders. And look, it's just like weird sticks. They need to fix that. They need to make it so it looks more cosmetic. Now, again, early access, but I'm going to comment on these things because these issues, EA, they're kind of like EA, honestly. But CA has a tendency to never fix anything. Okay, that was a little bit too much of an insult. They still remember not to turn... No, wait, never mind. They made a mobile game. That insult still stands. Fuck you. Goddamn mobile games. Ugh. Alright, we've got some reinforcements charging on. Cinematic camera. They look like fucking Huns. It's the worst. It just looks like I'm playing Attila. Or I'm not even playing the game. Ooh, I kind of like that, but I don't. Okay, so look at that unit collision, guys. Very interesting. That is actually going back to sort of how Rome 1 cavalry works. Now, a lot of my friends and a lot of people on the Discord server disagree that I thought Rome 1's cavalry felt good. And yes, I know it isn't very realistic. Medieval 2 had a much better portrayal of cavalry, and honestly one of the best portrayals in the franchise. Rome 1 is a little bit more like the cavalry hits more impactly, but I think it's gamification, and gamification should be okay as long as it doesn't hurt the game. So let's take a look at that one last time. And a little bit slower. I want you guys to look closely as it impacts the line. Oh wait, 1.25. I apologize. I'm never going to get that right. 0.5. All right, let's skip forward to the cavalry. Now look at the impact. Look at that. It's sort of similar to Total War Warhammer, how unit mass works. You sort of slide, but they have this flung back animation. He does a little spin off to the side. It looks like they all use the same animation. Kind of lazy. I hope they're not asking $60 for this. I feel really bad for anybody who... Oh my gosh, the unit formation broke. Oh my god. How terrible is that, guys? Look at this. Look at this. Once the cavalry breaks through, they charge this. They break formation, readjust, stand up. The unit glitches out. That's fucking fan-fucking-tastic. Alright, we've got some fucking lone warrior charging off, herping and derping by himself. Now, they have the duel system. Basically, they copied the Mark of Chaos game, which had its own duel system. Mark of Chaos being a notably meh-ish strategy title. And they basically put that in. And honestly, I think that's good if they're gonna do heroes and do duels. Oh my god, there's a fucking button to click duel on. I don't know what about that, I just don't like that too much. You can see unit health, things like that. They do talk about you can loot them. Run back to your master dog. Oh, we don't need these weeby conversations. Please, no, don't corny it. Don't make it corny. Please, for the love of God. Flings off. Now, sync animations do see in here. However, they're absolutely disgusting for anybody who actually likes melee combat. Doing backflips, twirls, and stupid shit that you don't ever do in melee. Like that. You don't flip your back like that. But that's so fucking cheesy. That's so... Oh, it's like I'm watching one of those cheesy fucking Chinese films about their fucking history. Yes, I do have to admit that it is a guilty pleasure, but it's kind of corny. And this is more than corny. This is giving me some serious fucking autism right here. Kick. Wow. Wow. Oh my god. This isn't how you do melee combat. This is not a historical title. Creative Assembly. Thrones of Britannia was a failure. Where is our historical title? Don't get me wrong. This looks fun. Overall, I think the game has potential. I think it will probably be one of the better Total War titles to come out on the Warscape engine, based on the way unit collision works. You know what it's giving me? It's giving me vibes that it's coming from the Shogun 2 style of sort of how the game's played. I don't really like the unit cards. I hope you can customize the unit cards more, and I want that customization panel back that Total War Warhammer had, because that was a good implementation. The ability to disable treason. Oh my god, look at that dense foliage in the background. Yeah. I do not like the graphical effects they've enabled in this video. They enabled that weird haze effect, and I just don't like it too much, because it looks meh. But that's just personal preference. You can turn that off anyways. Now, again, back to the animation things. I'm worried that there's not going to be any sync kills. I mean, synchronized kills do bog down the game, and I can understand why you wouldn't implement them, only because this is the Warscape fucking engine. This engine is as old as Empire Total War. In fact, I don't even recollect its age, but let's pull it up, shall we? Real quick in the background. I shall go and get that for you, because I think it's important to note the age of this engine. Now, it's also important to note that it is a modular-based engine. However, while it is modular, certain things will never be able to change. For example, certain unit collisions, or not collisions, but certain issues. The way ranged fire is worked in the Warscape engine, at least weapons fire, they only were able to fix musket weapons by basically swapping them with crossbowmen and just giving them the musket animation, which is bizarre. I don't understand how you have to do it that way, but, you know, apparently that's how that works. And overall, I'm not going to be... The thing is, I don't understand why people praise them bringing back basic mechanics. Bringing back siege battles is not praiseworthy. It's to be goddamn expected. However, there is some things I just noticed real quickly in the background. There's a lot of little things I keep noticing every time I watch this, and I watched it like several times. Actually, maybe that's a lie. Maybe I've watched it a lot more than that. And yes, I do love Total War, and I might be a little bit soon about it. But the thing is, I want Creative Assembly to succeed. I want you guys to make a kick-ass fucking Total War game. I want you guys to fucking blow the world away with how fucking fantastic is Total War. Total War is fucking amazing. It's one of my first PC games I ever played alongside Civilization. Fucking inspired me a lot in my childhood, especially when I drew fucking little Roman legions playing the first Total War, Rome Total War. Alright, so Empire Total War launched in March 13, 2009. This engine is almost a decade old. Come on, Creative Assembly, please, just make a new engine. Please, please. Okay, fine. You've already started on this one. I get you. I understand. But please, hear me out, Creative Assembly. When you do Medieval 3, when you do Empire 2, when you eventually please make Rome 3, because I want you to remake that. I want you to remake that. I want you to make it good. And hopefully, could you imagine a Bronze Age game? There's so much you could do in the Total War format. A Pike and Shot era game would work quite well. But when you start getting to the latter ends of technology, the gameplay would start fucking up. So don't listen to those crazy people telling you to do World War I. They're crazy. They're going to get you to fail. Don't listen to them. All right, so it looks fun. I will admit that. But my one concern is AIs. This AI seems to be scripted. I see some weird formation types in the background. Is that square formation? It is a square formation. I mean, technically speaking, the stat bonuses should be anti-cavalry. And is that cavalry at the gate? No. Yeah, there was appeared to be a square formation. Overall, the game seems to run quite well, and the camera's zooming around, panning around. Now, this is early access and development footage, like it says in the top left, or top right, beg your pardon, I might be fucking dyslexic. It's alright. Now, while I'm disappointed historically, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am disappointed about the historical part. The game still looks like a solid Total War fantasy game. And I do like Total War fantasy, but I have some serious concerns for my friends who are historical fans. And as myself, I'm also a historical fan, I would like to see a real historical title, because Thrones of Britannia was a half-baked game that they shoved out with experimental functions and features. You did not need to charge us $40 for that. That needed to be not only just an expansion, adding more mechanics to Attila, because you said you were going to add more games to them. The Saga series needs to die, CA. You need to kill it. It's a bad idea. It is a really, really bad idea. The idea of making content for older games is okay if you can justify it using the money to make patches. For example, the patch they made to Rome 2. Now, granted, Rome 2 is just a unmitigated disaster, even to this day. Even as someone who's put over 1,000 hours into the game, I still find the game lackluster at that. The thing is, I have a feeling they can succeed. It's not like they're not as bad as EA. Yes, they made a mobile game. Yes, they made some really shitty stuff. But they're still their games still follow the core philosophy. And as I've said, like I've told you guys, I'm very cynical about the Total War things. So much so that Archie even thinks I'm fucking crazy. But it's one of those things that I know they can do it. But you guys need to be more cynical. And all right, there's one thing I want to talk about real quickly, and I'm not going to diverge any more than that. The community. You guys, we got to get our shit together, okay? Like, we can't be fucking saying, like, we can't be fucking screaming down every goddamn critic or fucking praising blindly every fucking positive fucking poly in the community. We're never going to get positive things out of it. Criticism's fine, as long as it's controlled. Not going like, oh, Creative Assembly, you're a bunch of fucking faggots or something like that. Like, that's just me. You should be, like, giving criticism in the sense of creative, constructive. Because if we give Creative Assembly constructive criticism, my hope is that they'll listen to it. Now, more than likely not, considering their actions of banning people for no good reasons on their forums and censoring people, not to mentioning blacklisting my buddy Arch. Come on, CA, you're better than that. Frickin' A. Keep putting him on a blacklist all the time, then you unblacklist him. Make up your frickin' mind, at least. Jesus Christ. Either way. I want CA to succeed, and I need to fix some things. For example, the War Escape engine. I told people that this was going to be a deal breaker for me. It kind of still is. I need to see a lot more about this game. How much are we going to look at DLC? I mean, they are appealing to the Asian market. That's one thing I want you guys to bear in mind. The Asian market is notorious with their shitty DLC policies. We have it so fucking lucky that we were born in the West, my friends. Or the East has to deal with some of the shittiest fucking games and shittiest fucking DLCs. But at the same time, here in the West, we get to receive some of the true gems like Nier Automata and many others. I'm not going to say Dynasty Warriors because I'm not even a big fan of that, but it has its benefits. Let's put it like that. Now, again, I see the battering ram make it to the front line. But are the battering rams going to be useful? Because in Total Wars and recently, battering rams have become quite unuseful. Now, look at the street patterns. We have this street here, but hey, we have a self-contained little wall section here. Little compartmentalization. Oh no, that's actually cosmetic. This is the barracks. I just realized, I was looking at the structuring layout of these structures. I'm like, oh no, this is the military segment of the city. What does make me a little sad is there's no exterior structures. Or no, most of the exterior structures will be cleared from the walls. The villages will be further out. But yeah, I do like the return of siege battles. I'm very happy about that. And the fact that there's an inner sanctum, it looks like. Now, please be like Medieval 2, where it has not only 2 sanctums, but 3, where it has this final bastion where you can hold out on. Oh my gosh, Medieval 2 siege battles were so incredible. Not only were they voxel-based destruction, voxel-based siege battles in Total War. Can you imagine? Oh my god. Please, CA. Please, for the love of Christ. Voxel-based siege battles. Bring them back. You did them in fucking Medieval 2, where a rock would take a chunk out of a certain section of the building and hit, and then little bits of fire would come out, because fire. It was cosmetically pleasing. Let's just put it like that. The fire bit, a little bit weird. But the way you could destroy, like, fucking churches and stuff, or you could blow up mosques. I remember destroying as many mosques as possible when, crusading righteously through the Holy Land as a valiant crusader from England. I want Medieval 3 badly now. God damn it, I triggered myself. All right. Anyways, though, this looks pretty solid. One thing I would like to point out real quick is another thing I noticed. Look at this. I have a problem. I play too much Total War. I know way too much about these games. You can see the little boxes here. These are entry points onto the wall. I thought I'd tell you guys that. That's what those are probably. If that's not the case, then you have to enter via the tower or you've got to enter via the gatehouse. And I'm pretty sure those are the little entrance points. Which why don't they have stairways? Don't they know? I remember looking at most historical references on walls like this in cities in my historical castles book, and I don't remember them having little fucking inside wall stairways because that creates structural weaknesses. Most of the stairways would always be constructed outside, exterior, or via tower base. I just find that weird, okay? Anyways, I think this will conclude this video on Total War 3 Kingdoms. This does pique my interest a little bit, but there are some things I'm a little bit worried about. Which is the Warscape engine being the biggest handicap. Honestly, I can't stress how much I'm disappointed by the Warscape engine being in here. Because, again, they're going to ask us $60 for an engine that's a decade old. Granted, they're going to be making some new models, but again, they're using the old human models. Honestly, it feels like we're getting really gypped here. A lot of these assets and basic components have already been made. They're just reskinning over the top of them. Granted, they will be changing the stat lines, I hope, quite a bit, because the way combat functioned until it was alright, it was definitely better than Rome 2, but it felt soulless. It didn't feel like units had impact, momentum, mass. Empire, Total War, or not, I'm sorry, yet again, my brain is going. Total War Warhammer sort of fixed this by, making unit have more mass. However, the shields that they had finally made have like a stat, or they'd actually be physical shields. Like in Rome 2 Total War, one thing that was good about it is the shields were physical entities. Basically, the shield would actually block whatever object hit that area, and it made the aero combat feel quite more realistic in some aspects. Except for the slinger spam, that was cancer. But it made it very interesting, and I'm hoping we don't see the Total War Warhammer shield system, where it's basically just a stat, and it's not a physical entity in the game, because that's unfortunate. The physical entity system they had going on, where you could see the rocks bouncing off the testudos. It was fantastic. I'm honestly, I'm looking forward to it. Slightly. I'll say that much. But again, cautious. Don't fucking buy into the hype. I'm going to say this one more time. One more little preachy thing from preachy boy Kibbs over here. Fucking Lord. I know, I'm sorry. But, don't buy into the hype. These fucking cunts who keep telling everybody in the CA fucking the community, or any community for that matter, not just us, but everyone who says buy into the hype or get hyped or hype, you're just gonna make yourself dis-a-fucking-pointed. Just like I did, like an idiot, when I played Rome fucking 2 as a little guy, or a littler guy. I was still an adult, I think. But either way, no, I was. God damn it, I don't even fucking know. But Rome 2, yeah, I hyped myself up so much for that, and I got so fucking disappointed and so infuriated when I played that, and it was an unmitigated disaster. The thing is, control your excitement for these kinds of games. Don't get too excited, because you'll be blind to little details that are going to become huge problems. And buying into hype is not going to benefit the game company. It's only going to hurt them and yourself, because you won't be able to point out flaws, because Creative Assembly does, when you point out enough stuff, push back the release date to add more stuff. Now, again, back to the animation point, a lot of these could be placeholders, for example. For example, they could be placeholders from the older Total Wars. That's why it's not coming out till spring next year. Is because all this stuff is to hold the place of their new animations. However, because of their track record, I highly doubt that. Oh my god, did I just see them do what I thought they did? Units aren't going up there. What the heck? I keep noticing flaws. Alright, so before I have a breakdown any further than I already have about how many flaws I've noticed, again, it's early access, but my point is the base system should be there for them to work with. But yeah, that concludes my take on the 3 Dynasties. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. You guys should be sure to check the link for the Discord. Come in the server and we can have a chit-chat about it. I'll probably be on talking about it after the stream today, because today we're going to be doing Battletech. But yeah. Without further ado, this is your host, Captain Gibbs, signing off. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all again later.